Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share my first look at Sony's brand new 14mm G Master full frame lens. Now this is a very exciting piece of glass for me personally because it is so compact, it's an ultra wide, and it is so fast at f1.8. 1600 US dollars, pretty much sold out everywhere right now, but it is ultimately one of the most compelling pieces of glass that I think Sony has made in a very long time. At least for me personally, I love to shoot wide, so if, like me, you like shooting landscapes, maybe you're into astrophotography, this is probably going to be right at the top of your list because, first and foremost, if what I've seen is accurate in terms of it being sharp corner to corner, and you already can see how compact this piece of glass is for how fast it is, what Sony's pulled off here is fairly amazing. Now this is a review unit, just came over, and I'm just excited to share it with all of you, and I'm excited to start shooting with it. Again, so small, and in the same vein, pricing, you know, when I look at ultra wide options, of course, you know, Sony already has some great ones. Sigma, I've covered, they're great. Ultra wide zoom as well. But this, if you're looking again for just something really compact and fast, this might be the dream lens. And I'm glad I, sat on the fence and waited. Again, even though I haven't tested it yet, there's a lot of promise. Now, what I asked for Sony to send over, of course, to use with this is the A1, because I really feel like the A1 is the camera to beat right now, and to have this paired up with it, I think, is the only way to do it justice. Of course, I will be using this with my A7R4 as well, but the A1 was just a no-brainer. What body do you want to test it on? You want to go with Sony's latest and greatest. I wish that I had more time with the FX3 so that I could have done some shooting with that as well from the video side, but again, this is an ultra wide that I would primarily use specifically for still, so having it for the A1 and the A7R4, and even possibly testing it out with my old A7R2, which I still love. I mean, it may have aged, but it has aged very well. Still incredibly competent here in 2021, but just look at that form factor. I mean, this is the beauty of this lens, besides, of course, what I expect out of it optically. It's just amazing that Sony pulled this off, and it's so compact and yet so fast, and a G Master at that. I didn't necessarily expect that we were going to see a lens like this. I mean, obviously once it was announced we knew it, but I think the price, it's expensive, but it's fair. If, like me, you've been waiting for an ultra wide, either zoom or prime, that could rule them all, this may be it. You may be looking at it. So I'm just really excited to get this out in the field. Again, the A1 I don't own. This is all review equipment. My primary is the A7R4. This looks like it needs a little bit of a cleaning. Whoever used it last really put it to work. But this lens I'm expecting really good things out of. And this may be my next piece of glass, because when you think about landscape and architectural shots where you're not going for detail, but you are going wide, I don't know how much better you could do than this. I'm not even really sure what to point at. I've reviewed a lot of wide-angle zoom lenses. I currently own the 16-35 old Sony, that's the Zeiss F4, and this would just be a tremendous upgrade for me. I really was leaning towards the Sigma 14-24, and that is a phenomenal lens, but 14 is really wide enough, and at the end of the day, for me personally, if this does meet my expectations, I don't think I'm going to miss the zoom element, because if you are shooting with something like the A1 or the A7R4, anything with a really high megapixel count, you don't really need the zoom element. And this even applies to, the $3,000 ultra wide 12 to what is it? Is it to 12 to 28, or is it 12 to 24? I'm brain farting, but either way, shelling out $3,000 for that lens when you could get something like this, if this is all you need, doesn't really make a lot of sense. I mean, at 1600 US, this could be a clear winner for just about every landscape and again, astro photographer out there. So if, like me, again, you've been waiting for a fast, ultra wide prime, you know, this just makes what Sony's been doing not look bad, but it's just incrementally getting better and better and better. I mean, I thought Sony did a phenomenal job with the 20 millimeter G at its price point, really hard to beat, almost the same performance of the 24 mil G Master. But this guy right here, this is going to change the game for me, and especially if you've got back problems. I got back problems. I don't, no one is really interested in my back problems, but trying to keep things light, but still get as much quality and performance as you can. I don't know how we're going to beat this lens right here. Even though I haven't shot with it yet, I already know Sony does not take the G Master label lightly. You've got that click switch, so if you want to use it on something cinema related or just for shooting video, it should still be phenomenal. And of course, build quality on it is stellar, as with every G Master that's out there. And I do still have the FX3 for a moment, so let's just see, you know, what that looks like on this guy, because the FX3 is a little beast. And I mean, in a perfect world, I would have both of these, but this world is not perfect and I have neither of them. But let's just see what, this is also a review unit going back. Let's just see what this guy looks like on the FX3. I like it a lot. Now, of course, I've got to shoot with it. I'm not going to have that chance. This is going back right now, literally, but this would solve any wide angle needs I imagine that I would have with the FX3, and the fact that my cinema glass that I have now is the kit 28 to 135, and the 16 to 35 Zeiss is just not going to cut it. I mean, it's a good lens for the money, but it is certainly no superstar. Whereas this for 1600 and possibly less, as you know, over time as it gets discounted, I have a feeling we've got a superstar on our hands. But before I keep giving it all this praise, I think I got to shoot with it first. But anyway, this was the first look. And if you couldn't tell, I'm very excited. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button. And as usual, please feel free to subscribe. And please stay safe. Later.